Good morning, MMTs. 10:32 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Apple, 52-week highs. Again, they won the big case with Samsung. How about that? It wasn't about the money for Apple, about winning that case. It was about those patents. And we got a gap up to 680.87 right here, where my pointer is. That's another 52-week major high. Then we had a reversal off of that high. Each gap that we get higher on any news or any price action, what we are telling people now that we could get up to around that 689 to 690 area, but at that point Apple will be so overbought that it will have one of those big days like we called last week, $22 reversal from the highs down. That was a week ago, from the highs down last week. We made the higher highs. What I will tell people now that we're at levels that you have to take profits at. You don't have to sell it all, but you know what? Our upside from here is going to be limited, like I said. And our targets are, really about right around in this area. I'll just see if I can draw you a horizontal trend line, but it'd be right around 695.84 up here. Now we're going to evaluate that because the more overbought that we get in here, we will have a short sell on the top side of it because it will have its ranges from that exhaustion high in price with an intraday reversal. The intraday reversals is when we had the super gap here on the MMT 3-minute market maker platform. And you can see how we had that initial high up here. Again, it was short-term gap open up price exhaustion to the pullback, and we rallied off of that pullback, as you will within our system, and then we've consolidated, and each high that we get, you want to be selling into it because yes, it can go higher, but it's overbought, and you don't want to wear your welcome out too long. On a short-term basis, the name will have some volatility here. This is Apple. That's your high, 52 weeks. 7.33 range, intraday morning. 673.54 was the low. 663.22, there's your gap. So most of the move in here is already factored in, and here we're leveling off. The price level is starting to level off between that initial low and 678.5, which is still below the high of the day. So what will end up happening is each time it gaps, we will continue to buy the short-term trade. It might be for however long the market will give, but we would buy the put side because that side's going to pay, and then when it hits support level, they will just, ding the calls again. But it's narrow range, and this is what it looks like in the MMT platform on this daily level. So 678 is going to be that hurdle right here that I'm showing for now. But each new 52-week high makes a stock that much more overbought, and you have to have a little bit of risk management and judgment when you're trading Apple on a daily level like MMTs do, or a weekly or even a monthly level. But at times we start to hit these overbought processes. So we're going to be watching if we can clear above 678 and consolidate and then take another run for the highs. That's our primary focus. There will be price validation within the actual bid and ask cycles up to those prices. If they fail here again, well, we will have to short it intraday down. It's got a nice range on it so far. Once again, 52-week high, Apple computer. And we're having a intraday top from its lows, from where entries take down here. So you had 1, 2, you're working on a nice 3 teeny move at 87 cents per line. That's what teeny represents, 87 cents per line for today. It changes every day. So we're very strong. We have a strong IR at 55. It's at a major wall of resistance intraday, 52-week high, Apple computer, trading Apple long and short. And here we are right here. And we had 28 highs and 262 lows with that gap originally being put in. That's how many lows we got. Intraday morning was 262. That means that what I'm saying, MMTs, is that those gap up 52-week highs got to be hammered right then and there. Like on this put side had great moves. They got marked all the way down, but at $9, they originally popped $3 here now for a trade in and out, of course, making a market. And we were watching that 675 put. They're down toward the lows, but they still had a range of $3.25 from its morning low, opening bell low, 655, back to 980 and right back here to that original low on the opening bell here. So if Apple fails in here, we know that there is always a trade here. However, 262 intraday morning lows on that huge 52-week gap is exactly what we're talking about, and how a market maker would work its book between long trade, short trade, price reaction, and everything that goes involved using the MMT platform right here. This is our guide. Okay, we went up a little over 1 3/4. We went up 20.27 That's what it was, 17.65. And you can see in here that we're right at that delta mark. And if we go below 1.00 here, then we have this price reversal at resistance in play using the MMT platform.